friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is a bit of a different video today because it's been a while since I have made a walkthrough video without there being any speed build. I wanted to actually cover a build that I did quite some time ago, and by that I actually mean many months ago, and unfortunately I do not have a speed build because at the time of making this I did not record a single thing, so I do want to apologize for that. A lot of you did request a build that uses all of the Chinese buildings in the game, and I want to make it clear that I am still going to make a build with all of those things and it will have a speed build. However, I am very attached to this build because it just happens to be one of my favorite builds that I have ever made. And even though I don't have a tutorial to show for it, I do feel proud of it enough to show it to all of you. So I hope this gives you some ideas while I work on a new Mulan themed build, and in the meantime, I hope you will join me for a little stroll. So walking in from the peaceful meadow entrance, you can already tell there's going to be a lot of winding roads here, and I used the ancient road from Eternity Isle because I honestly like how it peeks through some of that wet ground from the Glade of Trust, and it just helps it create a little more of a countryside tranquil effect. So off the bat, I use a lot of these Mulan walls just for the entry pieces to get into other areas, so I like to partition it a bit just to separate all of the different house skins. I made a little pond on either end, and I used the teapot pond with the magnolia tree. I used the water trick where I use a custom water rug and I kind of blend it into the Neverland River kit just so that it was inside of it. Surrounding the perimeters of the Glade of Trust, I use these bamboo trees from Eternity Isle, and I do this neat trick where you put a chandelier type of lamp on top of a larger table surface, and it creates this effect where you can actually put these lamps outside. Now, just be warned though that this kind of glowing effect that you see only happens when it is evening time, and I do not mean the graphics, unfortunately, I mean local time for you. So it will only activate this way when it is at least 6 p.m. your local time, but I really like walking around that time anyways, so it doesn't bother me too much. On the other side where the entrance was, I have the reflections of China house skin, and honestly this is probably one of the most beautiful house skins in my opinion. They just put so much detail into this one. I don't know why they don't put this much detail into everyone, but I really like what they did with this one. So we're gonna actually just keep going along this route here, and I use a bunch of these Mulan type of arches. There's two kinds of arches, one with the magnolia flowers and one without, and it leads to this area where I actually use one of the Glade of Trust ponds as a centerpiece. So the trick with the Glade of Trust is that there is just a lot of creeks and a lot of rivers and a lot of ponds, and so I decided to try and work with it instead of trying to change the landscape. A lot of it was making the pathing first and then kind of going based off of the waterways to create little areas. So here I have a sort of shrine area, also a little tea table with some incense, and again using that chandelier lamp. You will notice that I have a lot of these water lilies on the ponds, and if you put a lot of it, you actually kind of eliminate any type of fishing ripple. So if that actually bothers you, you can just put less and you will get the ripples back. But I like the aesthetics, so I don't mind getting rid of them entirely. While the bamboo trees are kind of the main tree that I use here, I also use a lot of magnolia trees just to blend in with some of those ponds that I have laying around. And you will notice that although this is an older build, I did have some upgrades with it with the new cherry blossom kit that we got in the premium shop this update. So I did replace the well skin and goofy stall, and I added a bunch of these floating cherry blossom petals. This area behind the Reflections of China house, I actually made this a little work area because, you know, when you're just running around doing errands in whatever biomes that you're in, I like to have at least one cooking station and crafting table per area. I also have my vacuum back here and a chest that will connect to my storage rooms that are in my house. So it's just all for easy access and, you know, just to make things a little more productive in my valley. you're going to notice that a lot of the build is just foliage and trees. That's kind of the best part about this build, is that I don't have to use too many actual objects or decorative pieces, because truth be told, besides Mulan and turning red, there are not a lot of Chinese decorations. I really had to just work with what I had. A lot of those red lanterns are from Turning Red, I believe, and speaking of that, that entrance over there leads to the Turning Red temple, but we will actually do it the long way around just to go look at everything else, which will lead to that area in the end. The pathing kind of breaks around here because I wanted to create a little more of a partition and just to kind of like really outline a shift in location, because everything is kind of small around here in the valley, so I just want to make it more clear. So here is the Wandering Moon house skin, and this area is probably the least amount of decorative because all it is just trees and benches. That's pretty much it. But I also use these hills that are from Storybook Vale. If you actually do some of the puzzles with the Lore Keeper, you will get that hill and you will be able to craft some more of it. So I actually use those stone fences as well, and that will hide that table that I have that lantern sitting on, because otherwise it's kind of just obvious if there's a table there. But I don't hide it for every single lamp, I just hide it for some of the more obvious ones. Along with the magnolia flowers and the bamboo trees, I also use some of these wild tangle trees. I think these are the more flowery ones. There's two different ones, but whichever one has the flowers on it, that's also the one I use. And of course, as you can see over there, there are some willow trees which are native to the Glade of Trust, so of course they're gonna fit perfectly over there. Now this is like my favorite part of the build. I just love how the river looks with all of these like pink tones and like ambiance. So I actually put canoes in the river, and it just kind of looks like you can take a boat ride all around the Glade of Trust, and then there are these beautiful water lilies that are glowing in the water. So it really just feels calming to me, and this is somewhere that I like to really hang out in my valley. So over here is where I actually put Mulan and Mushu. It's a little bit less on the cherry blossom aspect and a little more green. So it's a lot of the same concepts that I use throughout the build, like the bamboo trees, the lights that are highlighting it. I do use more of the mossy tangle trees. I guess technically I use both of the wild tangle trees, but this one has more of the mossier ones. Just a bunch of like hanging trees that have like big leaves honestly really help to make this feel a little more authentic. So I have a little tea area here with Mulan's house, and that's also where I put her tea stall, which thankfully matches her house. So everything looks a bit consistent with the house skin. And this is probably the area that has the most winding roads, because I think around this time was when I had made my winding roads video. I think it might have been around that same time frame where I made this build. So I actually do have a video showing you how to do the winding roads if you need any kind of help with that, but I do that pretty much for the entire build. So then there's another entrance over here, and this is the final area of the glade, and this is where I have my Turning Red temple. So this is the pink and blue one, and this has probably the most cherry blossoms because, pink. Again, a lot of this stuff is just repetitive from the other areas, although each area kind of has like a different detail to it. Here I have a little corner for washing clothes. I also used some of these butterfly fountains from Lion King because I just like the look of like these rocky fountains. I think it kind of gives like what you would see out in like the real like countryside. And of course I used some Aladdin materials as well, as you can see from those tapestries that are hanging over there, just to make it look more rural in a way. There's a lot more turning red elements here, like these statues. I also have just a little bit more detail regarding cherry blossoms like on the floor. So I use like a mixture of piles, and then there's also like the actual underbrush flowers. I also have Goofy stall and this little puppet thing that you get from Mushu's Friendship quest line. This stall also is from the new skins that are in the premium shop right now with this new Lady and the Tramp update, so that's kind of where I got that from. And I think we've pretty much reached the full circle here. This is kind of going back around to where the Reflections of China house is. So everything is connected, but there is one more little area that I'd like to show you. So over here where Mother Gothel lives, originally I actually packed this little island to the max. I kind of wanted it to be like a little jail in disguise. You know, a lot of people don't like Mother Gothel, let's face it. I just wanted to trap her in here forever, but unfortunately I had to get through here, and turns out that a lot of friendship quests with other characters just require Mother Gothel. So I had to make this space a little more open. So I used more of those hills, and I actually was able to fit a little pathway just so that you can get in and out of it. This area really all it has is those hills, and I think it looks good from a distance as well, because no matter where you are in the build you can always see these little hills. To me that kind of just like looks like you can see off in the distance, so in a way it kind of gives the illusion of a bigger area. But yeah, that is the overview. Thank you guys for joining me on this stroll. I do have to apologize once again not having a speed build for it, but I do have plans to create a similar area. I'm really excited to do a new build for this, and I'm very happy to share a special build with you that honestly holds a place in my heart. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!